It sounded like a statement, but it was just noise. 10 runs. A Guardians win, and now they return to the same field, same mound, with the same illusion hanging in the air. That chaos repeats itself. But Scratch doesn't give you fire twice. He gives you memory, and then he gives you silence. Will Warren and Tanner Bibee, neither are aces. The public sees their eras and smells blood. They see yesterday's score and think it's a trend. But Vegas didn't move the number. They held the line, 8.5, right where it sat before the first pitch. Because they didn't see risk. They saw opportunity. 96% of bettors are on the over. They want more runs, more fireworks, more proof that yesterday's story was the beginning of a pattern. But it wasn't. The Yankees are second in baseball in strikeouts per 9, third in opponent batting average. They don't need dominant starting pitching. They need 4 innings, and then the bullpen takes over. The Guardians have been efficient. Hot, even, but hot fades fast when both teams tighten. Today isn't about thunder. It's about what never comes. Vegas wrote this line in stone, knowing the public would write their name in chalk. They expect noise, but they'll get quiet. They expect another 6-4, but they forgot what 3-2 feels like. And today's AI pick is under 8.5 total runs. The win won't be shouted. It will be swallowed. Game 2 awaits. Phillies versus Mets. Malachi, Elvis, the floor is yours.
You hear that, Elvis? That's the sound of the board tilting. Quiet, subtle, but deliberate. The book set the line at 8. Balanced, safe, tempting. And everyone's watching that number, wondering if the bats explode, if the arms hold, if this turns into chaos or calm. But we're not watching the total. We're watching the position. Phillies step in as road favorites. Not because of noise, but because of structure. They lead in slugging. They lead in contact. They lead in presence. And tonight, they lead on the mound. Christopher Sanchez. 2 wins, sub-3 ERA, 1 walk for every 5 strikeouts. He's not just a pitcher, he's a stopper, a disruptor. Griffin Canning? He's been decent. But decent doesn't cut it when your opponent brings thunder. Harper's heating up. Turner's on a tear. Schwarber is 1 swing away from ending games early. This isn't a lineup looking to hang on. It's one that breaks through. And don't let New York's record fool you. They've ridden pitching and timing. But against the Phillies team with this much depth, that edge dulls fast. Let the public lean on the home field illusion. Let them bet on the streak. Let them forget that the Mets still rank 21st in offense, 20th in on-base percentage, and can't match power for power. We're not buying the spark, we're backing the fire, and today's AI pick is Philadelphia Phillies moneyline. Strike early. Lean in, hold the line. Bonnie, Clyde, step in. Game 3 is yours. Dodgers versus Cubs. Make it loud.
You got us kicked out of a ballet, Clyde. A literal ballet. I tried to bring you to something classy, and halfway through the second act, you've got MLB pulled up on your phone, lit up like a stadium. I reached over to take it, and the phone slipped, bounced off a seat, and landed on someone. I had to apologize in front of an entire row while you stood there like you were waiting for a pitch count.
I told you I didn't want to go. You wanted ballet, I wanted box scores. I stayed quiet, you made the move, and that phone? It slipped because of momentum, not malice. Just like tonight, the crowd sees the Dodgers and assumes dominance. But the Cubs are rolling, first in runs, ops, top 3 in homers. Imanaga's holding down the rotation. And the Dodgers? They're stretched thin and hoping may get steep.
You think watching the Cubs at a ballet was justified? That game wasn't even close to first pitch. You were just itching for a reason to zone out. And now you're telling me they're the value play tonight because they're loud on offense. They've got the stats, fine. But so do the Dodgers. And that name, Los Angeles, it makes people lean without thinking. You're trusting Chicago in Wrigley like it's business as usual?
No, I'm trusting momentum and undervaluation. Cubs are plus 102 in their own park with the best offense in baseball. Everyone's hypnotized by brand power. I'm not, and today's AI pick is Cubs moneyline. K, step in. Game 4 is yours.
Ivy heard it said that mercy is found in patience. But patience does not always mean waiting. Sometimes it means knowing when not to speak, when not to swing. Tonight in Houston, the crowd expects action. They saw a 70 blowout in Game 1. They tasted adrenaline. They think it will come again. But emotion is not a trend. And noise is not a pattern. Chris Bassett steps onto the mound with numbers that speak for themselves. 2 wins, 0 losses. An ERA under 1. 31 strikeouts. Just 5 walks. He isn't throwing, he's silencing. Ronald Blanco stands on the other side. His stats don't inspire fear. A 6.48 ERA. Wild at times. But even he knows what this is a start he can't afford to lose early. And sometimes pressure creates stillness. The Astros haven't been hitting. Bottom 10 in average. Bottom 10 in slugging. Few home runs. Fewer rallies. The Blue Jays. They make contact, but they haven't hit for power either. Tied for 29th in home runs. Their runs come by rhythm, not eruption. So what happens when a master of control faces a team built to survive long innings? What happens when the team that got embarrassed knows all eyes are watching in the first? They press pause. Vegas set the total at 8.5, but our scope is tighter. 4 innings. 2 arms. 1 truth. This game will not start with chaos. It will begin with caution. And today's AI pick is first 5 innings under 4 Lilith. The field is yours. Game 5 and the final word.
The quiet ones are often overlooked. They are not flashy. They don't shout for attention. They just wait. Jose Quintana has waited. 2 wins. No losses. A 0.71 ERA. 12 innings. Barely touched. No headlines. No hype. Just work. He faces Jordan Hicks tonight, who's been hit and rattled. The Giants are favored because the crowd sees standings. They see home field. They remember noise. But Scratch doesn't pay the loud. He pays the unguarded. Milwaukee's offense doesn't need to overpower. They need to hold the line. Keep it close. And with Quintana on the mound, they will. So tonight, in the shadows of Oracle Park, today's AI pick is Brewers 1.5, not because they must win, but because they will not fade. You've heard 5 voices, 5 angles, 5 blades drawn into the same wind. Here is what they delivered. Game 1, Yankees vs Guardians. AI pick under 8.5. Nadas saw the silence in the line. Public chase chaos. He chose stillness. Game 2, Phillies vs Mets. AI pick Phillies moneyline. Malachi trusted form over flash. Power over perception. Esenche stood tall. Game 3, Dodgers vs Cubs. AI pick Cubs moneyline. Bonnie shouted. Clyde didn't blink. Chicago's backs did the rest. Game 4, Blue Jays vs Astros. AI pick first 5 under 4K trusted control. Bassett's arm. Houston's cold. The pace deliberate. Game 5, Brewers vs Giants. I picked Brewers 1.5 and IL stood with the quiet one. Not for glory, for clarity. If you hear us, then stay. Like this. Not because it's perfect, but because it's different. Subscribe not to follow but to remember that in the noise of the game, there is still signal, still pattern, still warning. Choose well.